Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most emotional and inspiring moments in recent political history. An unforgettable event that left an entire room in tears. Congressman Tom Emmer presented Representative Jasmine Crockett with the Global Leadership Medal, an honor given to individuals who have shown exceptional courage, compassion, and commitment to advancing justice on a worldwide scale. What began as a formal ceremony soon turned into a deeply personal and heartfelt moment that reminded everyone what true leadership looks like. The hall was filled with dignitaries, political leaders, journalists, and activists from around the world. Cameras flashed as Jasmine Crockett, wearing a simple yet elegant dark suit, walked onto the stage. Her expression was calm, but her eyes reflected the weight of the journey that had brought her here. When Tom Emmer took the podium to speak, there was a silence in the air. The kind of silence that comes before history is made. Emmer began by speaking not about politics, but about character. He described Jasmine Crockett as a leader who stands firm even when the world shakes, a voice for the voiceless, and a force for justice that transcends party lines. Leadership, he said, isn't about how loud you speak, it's about how deeply you care. And Jasmine Crockett cares more than most. His words drew a round of applause, but more importantly, they struck a chord. This wasn't just a ceremony. It was a recognition of years of hard work, sacrifice, and resilience. Crockett has become known for her fearlessness in speaking truth to power, for her unrelenting fight for equality, and for her ability to stand her ground when others would have stepped back. Her leadership has inspired not only her constituents, but countless young people around the world who look up to her as proof that integrity still matters. As Emmer continued, his tone softened. He recalled moments from the House floor when Crockett's voice cut through the noise, challenging injustice with both fire and grace. In every era, he said, there are leaders who rise not because they want power, but because they cannot stand silence in the face of wrong. Jasmine Crockett is one of those leaders. The audience fell silent again, listening closely. When the moment came for Emmer to present the Global Leadership Medal, the air was thick with emotion. The golden medal gleamed under the lights, engraved with the words, "For courage and humanity." As he placed it around her neck, Crockett's eyes filled with tears, not of sadness, but of gratitude and reflection. She took a deep breath, then looked up at the audience with a mix of humility and strength. The applause was thunderous, but she didn't rush to speak. She waited for the noise to fade, and then began what would become one of the most heartfelt speeches of her career. She started softly, her voice steady but emotional. "When I first stepped into public service," she said, "I never imagined I'd be standing here one day, being recognized for something I thought was simply my duty, to tell the truth, to fight for fairness, and to protect those who can't protect themselves." Her words carried weight, every sentence landing with meaning. Crockett then turned to Tom Emmer, thanking him for his gesture. "Congressman Emmer," she said, "this moment shows that leadership isn't about what side you stand on, but what values you stand for. And when we meet on the ground of humanity, that's when real progress begins." The audience erupted in applause once again. It was rare to see two figures from different political sides share a moment of such genuine respect. As she continued, Jasmine reflected on her journey, from her early days as a public defender to becoming one of the most talked-about voices in Congress. She spoke of the long nights, the battles that seemed endless, and the criticism that often came her way. But she also spoke of hope, the kind of hope that refuses to die even in the darkest moments. "Every time I was told I couldn't, I remembered the people who didn't have the privilege to give up," she said. "They are the reason I'm still standing." People in the audience began wiping away tears. Even seasoned politicians who had seen countless ceremonies found themselves moved by her authenticity. She wasn't giving a rehearsed speech. She was speaking from the heart. Her words resonated beyond politics. They spoke to anyone who has ever faced struggle and kept moving forward. Crockett also took a moment to honor those who came before her, the trailblazers who opened doors for women, For people of color, for truth-tellers, and for dreamers. I stand here not alone, she said, but on the shoulders of those who believed in justice even when the world called them foolish. The room was silent, except for the faint sounds of people sniffling and holding back tears. Tom Emmer, standing just a few feet away, nodded respectfully. It was clear that he, too, was moved. Despite political differences, this was a human moment, one that transcended debate or division. When she turned back toward him and extended her hand, he took it with a warm smile. The handshake lasted longer than expected, symbolizing unity in a time when division often dominates headlines. Then came the part that caught everyone off guard. As the applause died down, Jasmine Crockett paused for a moment, her voice trembling slightly. "I know that leadership can feel lonely," she said softly, "but today reminds me that we're never truly alone when we lead with purpose." With that, tears rolled down her cheeks. The crowd rose to its feet in a standing ovation. Even Emmer, visibly emotional, clapped with both hands, looking genuinely proud. The camera zoomed in on Jasmine's face as she wiped her tears, smiling through the emotion. It wasn't weakness on display, it was strength. It was the vulnerability of someone who has carried the weight of countless voices and kept going. It was a reminder that even the strongest leaders have hearts that feel deeply. Reporters captured every second, and within hours, the video of the ceremony went viral online. Across social media, people from around the world praised the moment as one of unity and grace. Hashtags celebrating Jasmine Crockett's leadership began trending globally. Many called it the moment politics found its heart again. After the ceremony and interviews, Tom Emmer spoke about why he chose to present the medal to Crockett. "Because leadership like hers doesn't come around often," he said. "You may not always agree with her, but you can't deny her integrity. That deserves respect." His words added even more meaning to the moment. As the night went on, Jasmine continued to meet and greet people, still holding the medal gently in her hands. She laughed, she hugged, and she thanked everyone who had supported her journey. But behind that bright smile was still the emotion of what had just happened, the weight of recognition, the beauty of unity, and the deep gratitude of someone who has spent her life fighting for others. Later, as she left the event, a reporter asked her how she felt. She smiled softly and said, "Grateful, not just for the medal, but for the reminder that compassion still exists in leadership. It gives me hope that we can keep building bridges instead of walls." It was a simple answer, but it summed up everything the evening had meant. This ceremony wasn't just about honoring one person. It was about what happens when respect crosses boundaries. It was about recognizing that leadership is not defined by who shouts the loudest, but by who listens the most. It was about courage, not just to fight, but to care. And in that sense, both Jasmine Crockett and Tom Emmer showed the world something extraordinary. As the days followed, tributes poured in from across the country and beyond. Activists, educators, and world leaders praised the symbolism of the event. Many said it reminded them that decency in politics is not dead. It just needs to be revived through moments like these. For young people watching, it became a lesson in empathy, respect, and the idea that collaboration can still conquer division. Jasmine Crockett's Global Leadership Medal now stands as more than an award. It's a symbol of possibility. It represents what can happen when courage meets compassion, when truth meets diplomacy, and when leaders remember that at the end of the day, we're all human. The ceremony may have ended in tears, but they were tears of hope, of pride, and of connection. It was a reminder that leadership is not about perfection. It's about persistence, about showing up, and about believing that one voice, when used for good, can change everything. As the applause faded and the lights dimmed that evening, Jasmine Crockett stood quietly for a moment, holding the medal close to her heart. It was clear that the recognition wasn't just for what she had done, but for what she continues to stand for: truth, justice, and humanity. And maybe that's the real story here. Not the award, not the speeches, but the message that echoed through that hall. That even in divided times, respect and compassion can still bring people together. Jasmine Crockett and Tom Emmer reminded the world that when we honor integrity, we honor ourselves. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates.